Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John with Flippin' Ain't Easy. Today I want to talk to you about a few things. I'm going to be out here working in my garage while I talk to you guys. I think a number of you had said, hey, want to see that format some more. And I don't know if I get a whole lot done while I'm talking because I'm really trying to focus on the talking part versus the working part, but I'll definitely try. We have some weather rolling in, which is why I have the garage door down or up, however you want to put it, so I could feel that breeze coming in. This is a relief, guys, from the summer. You know, mid-September on, I'm praying for good weather, and here we are. We have, in my opinion, this is good weather. Anytime you can get the temperature down in the low 90s and maybe even in the 80s with the storm rolling in September, it's a good thing. So wanted to talk to you guys, kind of do a follow-up on the video that I made Thursday, was it? The one where I'm basically saying, you know, don't put a lot of stock into what us YouTubers, I'll put myself into that equation. It's not just one or two people that I was talking about in that video. I was talking about all resellers that do YouTube channels where we tend to indirectly give advice. And it's not so much we're saying, hey, guys, this is the way to do it. This is the only way to do it. Do it this way. It's more of like in the instance of the video, the example that I put in the video, Kevin was sharing his experience where he bought 2 Barbies that were $100 that could be flipped for potentially $250. And that's what the conversation was. And it's not so much that he was telling people, hey, this is how you all should do it. Follow me. And the point of my rebuttal, my comment on that, my video that I made that was talking about that, was to make the point that there's a lot of very new resellers out there. There's a lot of very desperate resellers out there that are trying to do something different because they want to see an improvement within their business. And some are kind of at the level where they'll try anything. And I think before you take that example and run with it, I think that it's best to really know your business. And you really would think that I shouldn't even have to say that. But what you guys may or may not realize is I do a lot of store reviews. People either message me by email or they show up in the members only lives where we do a deep dive into stores and try to help them figure out what they can do better with their accounts. And you'll be surprised what you see in some of these stores, or we just looking at stores in general and reviewing stores just randomly as we go through eBay and to try to discuss best practices. So in the video that Kevin made, the first one was called Shady Resellers Taking Advantage of People. That's the video he put out last week. And that was the topic of the video. It wasn't how I flipped 200 into 250. So there's a reason why I didn't watch the whole video. I was focused just on that point he made. I shut the video off because it had to do with something totally different. I thought that at the time, you know, it got me to thinking how us YouTubers are very influential, whether we want to be or not. We are. And I want, and just put Kevin aside. Kevin does a great job with his audience, and you know, he talks about what works for him, and I'm doing nothing different. I'm doing the same thing. Never have I said to anyone, and I just want to make this clear, never have I said to anyone, nor did I say in the video I put out on Saturday, that you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. I think I wouldn't do that, 100 into 250. And somebody put a comment saying, are you crazy? That's a great profit, 100 into 250. But there's so many intangibles that are missing. We don't know how long the transaction is going to be. If someone was to say, look, you'll have this thing sold tomorrow, 100 into 250, I'd do it in a heartbeat. But eBay doesn't provide us with those kind of promises. eBay doesn't provide us with a guarantee that our investments, and that's exactly what it is. Anytime you shell money out, for product to resell, you're making an investment. You're taking an educated risk. And some don't even try to educate themselves. They just take a risk, right? Which is another topic altogether, but not on this video. So we're all taking an educated risk. There is no guarantee that you're going to sell that item that you see a lot of sold comps for. There's no guarantee you're going to sell it overnight or within any given period of time. And if you rely on the return of your initial cost of goods, and money is very limited for you, and most resellers, money is somewhat limited, then that is a questionable purchasing decision. And this topic that I've always talked about on this channel of sourcing, it's the most important thing you can do within your business. It is the most important thing you can do within your business, but for each and every person, it's different. You're going to draw a different conclusion, but you shouldn't draw that conclusion based on what somebody you see on YouTube is doing. Draw it based on what you are doing and what your business can sustain. And again, a lot of you are like, why should you even have to talk about that? Because you would be surprised how prevalent that is and how people just are they buy things on impulse. So they're out at the yard sale. The person's doing their job at the yard sale, selling this person on the idea of, this is a great deal. Why don't you take it? And for whatever reason, they don't really take a close look at their business model, and they make a questionable buy. We've all been there before. We've all made questionable buys. And the key is, learning from that. And what we do is we make videos to tell you about our experience, so maybe you don't have to go through that. So look, I want to just say, look, I text Kevin all the time. Look, last night, Kevin was texting me, talking to me about a few things, kind of making his point. The point he was making via text was that most retail businesses, or small businesses, that is, make about a 10% margin. He also sent me a video link to Ryan Roots, talking about how to drive that point home, that the average small businesses make about a 10% margin. But what's not said in any of these things is that your average small business has overhead, has employees. Most eBay sellers don't have either of those things. They do just like me, out of my garage. No employees. Maybe your significant other is helping you with it. That's the extent of it. You have very limited costs. Your cost of goods, your eBay fees, your supplies, and maybe a few costs associated with running the business from your home or wherever. But nothing close to having a full-blown brick and mortar, which is the reason why I haven't done that myself, is because the idea of adding those costs, employees, brick and mortar, and all the other things that go along with it, utilities for that location, I don't want to deal with. It took me a long enough time to have to go and get a storage unit to try to bulk up and get ready for Q4. And I think that I lost my train of thought is what I did. I lost my damn train of thought. So we're just going to go with it here. I pulled a Jenna. I lost my train of thought. And of course, we're not going to edit this thing. We're just going to roll with it. I just want... Oh, okay. I think I remember my train of thought, so I apologize. Comment down below if you think I'm an idiot. That's fine. I get it enough anyway. My hope is that as resellers who have limited overhead, we're making more than 10%. And as I told Kevin in the text string back and forth, that if you're an everyday reseller and you're not making more than 10%, that's, to me, is a disaster. And I'm not talking about the big volume sellers. You're not an everyday reseller. You've got a game that's working for you. You've got a process that's working for you. And you are making a lot of volume turn into a lot of money. And that's fine. That's a different business model than what I operate under. I kind of do the opposite thing. I'm selling higher ASP, low volume, and that works for me. Just shows you can skin a cat many different ways, and there's really no right or wrong answer as long as scoreboard. The scoreboard on eBay is how much money you're making, and are you happy you're making that much money? Is that going to sustain what you're doing versus going back to work for a 9 to 5? So we had a little back and forth on that. I don't have a number for you as to what the right margin is. I know what the right margin is for me. I make 45 to 48% margin, and I'm open and honest about sharing that information with you. Not everyone is on YouTube. I'm one of the few people that will actively show you what I make on eBay. And heck, I have no problem showing you what I make on YouTube either. I'll just add this, and it's not a knock on anyone. This is just the reality for me. If I quit social media today, it would set me back a car payment. And that's just the way it is between, well, maybe a car payment and some bills, a couple bills, small bills. That's about it. Okay. And that's getting rid of the sponsorships. That's getting rid of the channel. That's just me working, this job 9 to 5 on eBay Island like I used to. And in fact, I would probably make up for that lost revenue by having more time to put into more product and getting my store built up, because I've been fighting eBay right now, trying to get it over 300, and the sales keep knocking me back down. But I'm just going to keep doing what I do. So I choose to stay, not because I want to create drama with other channels, because I hope to believe that Kevin doesn't think of it as drama. And again, Kevin, if you're watching, I'm sure you are. I apologize to you if, for whatever reason, you were offended, because in your title of the last video you put out, you put that this YouTuber called me out. And I hope you don't truly believe that. And I'm hopeful that that title was more for getting views than it was that you truly meant that, because I wouldn't call you out like that. I used your situation as an example of what I was trying to say. And there's a few people that did comment on your video, Kevin. I mean, there's a lot of comments here. I'll flash them on the screen for you. There's a lot of comments here where, you know, we're kind of shooting me down. And that's fine. I open myself up for that kind of thing. But it just makes me wonder if any of these people even watch my channel or know who I am. And there's a couple that say, you know, I stopped watching him, you know, wouldn't watch him for any amount of money, talking about me. That I delete comments. I don't delete comments, guys. I have a friend named Archie. He lives locally out here. You guys know. And he's been watching the channel forever. And he said many, many a times, for whatever reason, my comments are not showing up in your videos. And it ain't like I'm deleting them. I'm not deleting them at all. I don't have time to delete them. In fact, if I was to go back and try to catch up to all the comments that I receive on videos, even though I try, I really do, it would take me hours to go back and do it. I can't keep track. There's only one person that's been blocked on my channel that I've deleted any comments. And that person was known for writing paragraphs upon paragraphs and pretty much abusing me the whole way. I think as content creators, we shouldn't have to take someone's abuse. We're putting this, look, I'm not charging anyone anything. eBay, Google AdSense, not eBay, but Google AdSense is making you watch commercials or charging you $20-something a month for the premium. By the way, it's worth getting the premium so you don't have to watch those commercials. And that's sort of an indirect payment that you're paying YouTube regardless of what content you watch. I will never ask you to be a member. That's always optional. We charge $2.99 a month to be a part of the members only lives and the other content that I think the masses don't care about watching that I put out. There's a lot of viewers that just want the information and can care less if I died tomorrow. And that's just the truth. But we do have members that do care, and we have members who actually want to do a deep dive. Maybe they wanted, us to check out their store, or maybe they want to see what other stores look like, and it's done in an environment that is only like 20 or 30 people. And we have like 60, 70 members, so it ain't like 1,000 people are watching if you decide to share your store. So I think the environment is excellent and conducive for positive growth and discussion just through our own experiences. And it isn't like I have all the answers. I am only going to be able to come to you with my opinion. And that's all it was. I mean, all I did was voice my opinion, and it wasn't that he made a bad buy. I don't know Kevin's situation. What he did tell me, and I'll share this with you, maybe he'll get mad at me or whatever. I'm not going to show you the text, but you know, if you have $50,000 in the bank, what was it said? Let me quote it properly here. And again, Kevin, I'm not trying to make you look bad. I'm not. I'm just trying to make a point here. I guess that's what happened before. It says, who cares if it takes 6 months if you have 50,000 in the bank? It's relative. So if you have an opportunity to make a buy, $100 into 250, and you have 50,000 in the bank, I mean, don't think twice about it. I think Mr. Sadie said something to the effect of, you know, it's an investment. It's no different than buying gold or silver and waiting for the right buyer and cashing in when you get your price. It's a business model. So every part of a business model. My response to Kevin was, though, not everyone has 50,000 in the bank. Most resellers out there don't have $50,000 in the bank to fall back on. So when they're out and about the yard sale and they've struck out all morning long and haven't been able to find the good stuff that they're used to finding, it is very easy to fall into a trap of buying where you may not normally buy. And I'll give you an example that fits me. About 5 months ago, when we actually had good weather for yard sales, I was in a neighborhood that had no cell phone reception. Okay, just had no cell phone reception. Came across a large box of Starbucks tumblers. Now, this is coming off after talking to Jake, the Jakester. He's always on Beard's Friday Night Lives, Bearded Picker's Friday Night Lives. And he's a big Starbucks tumbler guy, or actually mugs and stuff. And there are tumblers out there that do fetch good money. So here I am, have my phone in hand. I see a big box of tumblers. She wants $5 to $10 a piece. And the wholesale buyer in me came out, and I said, how much for all of them? Now, she had like 35 in there. She said $100. And I said, hold on, now let me think about it. So I walked around the rest of the yard sale. I started looking at my phone, and no reception. So I'm like, okay, seems pretty good. Little bit less than $3 a tumbler. And I didn't even barter with her. And that's probably my first mistake because I normally barter. I probably should have came back with 80. But I gave her price for 100. Got them home. I mean, some of these tumblers like had Disney World. That's the 24-ounce plastic Starbucks tumblers with a straw, those type of things. And we had one from Disneyland, one from Disney World, one from the University of Clemson, one from Washington State. There was a couple other. These were like 3-4 years old, and you can tell they maybe were used once and put away. So she's like, I have too many Starbucks cups, tumblers. I just need to clear some space and get rid of some. So here we are, right? So I'm thinking some of these could have some serious value. And I did sell, I listed them all, and I did sell one for 20 and another one for like 30 something. One of the Disneyland cups, not the Disney World, but the Disneyland cups sold. I'm going to attempt to work while I'm talking to you. And no other, I mean, I've had them up for a couple months and no other activity. So here I am, I'm thinking, well, that was a bust. I made most of my money back. And Archie came over, Biscuit Butt, and he's like, yeah, dude. He's like, if you want to part with some of this stuff, I'll list it and we'll work something out. So that's kind of what happened. And he was able to sell those tumblers, and maybe someone's going to be able to make money off of it. I look at it as, after it's all said and done, I'm probably going to break about even, if I'm being honest with you, on that sale. Now, was that a waste of time? I guess you could call it a waste of time, but it's a learning experience. Will I do that ever again? No, I'm not going to buy. And it's not so much about tumblers. It's like, if I'm going to invest that kind of money, $100, I better know that I'm going to make a profit. I can't, I rely on my sold comps a lot. I rely on eBay data because I sell everything. I'm not a niche seller. I just don't get enough of one type of product to even be a niche seller. I'm not going to take that chance. Now, I don't have 50,000 in the bank. I'll be honest with you. Do I have money in the bank? Yes, I do. But not to that level. I have enough money to sustain my. If all money ceases to come in for me, I have about 2 to 3 months worth of money to live. All my bills and the things that I need. Not everyone can say that, and I feel extremely blessed to be able to say that. But it's been a series of hard work. Guys, I bust my butt. I kick my butt, man. I really get out here and I work hard. I don't need social media. I really don't. And really, I appreciate the comments, but I mean, I really wish these people knew who I was. And unfortunately, the thing that kind of bothers me most about this, look, I don't need views. If you guys think my interaction with Kevin or the topic at hand, and even using Kevin as a reference, which is my first mistake, is using anyone as a reference, just make an example and just make my video. If you think that I did that because I want to increase views, non-organically, because I'd like to increase my. Anybody who makes content would be lying to you if they didn't say, hey, we want to increase our views. Of course, you don't do something to get half-assed results. You want the best results you can get. At least that's for me. If I'm playing a board game, if I'm doing something, I want to be the best that I can be, so I can say I did my very best to do the best that I can. I don't like the idea of having fake views or tricking people into watching my videos. Yeah, I do thumbnails and I try to play the game to get people attracted to my listing. I'm at my listing to my video. But it's unlike one person who says, he seems like he's manipulative and he is dishonest in the comments these comments. That isn't me, guys. And that rips me to shreds when I read that, because it's like, this person doesn't know me. This person doesn't know that I'm probably the most loyal person that you will ever know in your lifetime, to a fault. Hell, I stayed in a bad marriage for 10 years longer than I should have, because I'm just that loyal to a fault until enough was enough. I mean, I'll give you guys all kinds of information about my life. And then I meet a wonderful woman, and I wish I would have met her many, many years before. But that's, Jenna, that's another topic for another day. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and sometimes I should sit back and wait instead of reacting. Maybe I shouldn't even made this video, to be honest with you. But here I am talking to you guys, and I mean every bit of it. And I'm not a bad person. I'm not. If, in fact, there's people that hate me, they will go in and hit the thumbs down as soon as the video comes out. And by the way, I appreciate that, because that does give me interaction with the viewer, whatever the hell it's called. There's another word for it. I'm not even on that level right now. I lose a lot of words when I'm in the middle of thinking of something else, but lose my train of thought sometimes because I've just got so much to say. But I'm not a bad person, and if the majority of viewers out there, if you guys really do think that I have bad intentions, put it down below. If there's an influx of people who think that I'm just a piece of trash that I need to go away, I'll go away, because I don't want to hurt the community at all. I'm here, and people say, well, that's kind of damn ridiculous for someone to say that you're here to help when you're the one that's making money. And you're just hurting yourself by giving information. But the number of people who watch, the amount of people who watch my content is just a drop in the bucket as compared with the number of people who are actually out there not even looking at YouTube and are just grinding every day. And I sell everything, so it's not like I'm stuck on a niche and I'm talking to thousands of people in the same niche. That would be a huge mistake. I've learned lessons like that before. But for me, just about filling a void. I think I've talked about this when I first started. And when I was making no money, I'd made no money on YouTube for 6 months when we first started. And it wasn't about the money. We made videos 2 to 3 times a week. And it was fun. And it still is fun. And the money is just a bonus, but it isn't a lot. Like this month, I'm making less than $800. And that's That's what it is, guys. It's just fine. I mean, 2 years ago I was making 1,500. Um, that would cause people to just get frustrated and quit if they made half of what they're doing with the same effort. But it isn't about the money. It's never been about the money. It's making a difference. And if I feel like I'm not making a difference within the community, if I feel like you guys think I'm just a shit disturber, if I feel like I'm not doing my part with the voice that I have, 27,000 awesome subscribers, then do me a favor. If you feel like I'm that guy, then please go down and unsubscribe to my channel. And I'll just say that. I mean, it's really all I can say. Most YouTubers won't tell you to unsubscribe, but there's a button down there. It says subscribe right now. And if you don't believe a word that I'm saying, then please go and hit that unsubscribe button and hit block while you're at it so that you never have to see my face. I've never asked you guys for money. I've never asked you guys for anything. I've been able to gain some wonderful friendships through this. And by the way, I'm not an eBay shill, even though a lot of people say, oh, I'm waiting for when John will say he's not an eBay shill. I say that a lot because there's a lot of people that actually think that I'm an eBay shill, even though I will say things that eBay, they reach out to the nice people. They reach out to the nice people. I guess I'm not a nice person because I'm being honest with my content. Wonderful guy named Joe, Profit First Reseller. I'm super proud of the guy. He got a call from eBay. He's currently in Washington, D.C., doing something with the government team and an advocacy for resellers. I love it. Very, very bright guy. And he's an excellent face, super positive, excellent face for not only eBay, but the reseller community. So kudos to Joe. There's others that have been invited to eBay because they haven't voiced an opinion. Not to say they don't have one, but I've made maybe the mistake of voicing an opinion. I've made mistakes a lot like this. People talking about Josh Galt, right? Some fast talking guy started talking about Josh Galt about a year and a half ago, and I'm a very, very loyal guy. I'm very, very super, super loyal. And I felt like what was being said was out of place. And yeah, I made a video. I responded to it when I probably shouldn't have. They made a video to respond back and shoot back at me. And at that point, I shut it down. I didn't even reply to it. Didn't want to give that person any more play than they deserve. So those of you guys who are saying that this is just drummed up to gain views on either side, on Kevin's side or on my side, it's a conspiracy, I guess, but it's not what's going on. There's one time that Kevin and I did get together and talk about when we were getting that buyer who was bought an item from us, and Wick too. Wick wasn't involved in the conversation, but buyer bought an item from us, a cheap $10 item, and then started opening a return request and sent me back a box of trash. They sent me back a box of old meatballs. They sent me back an old used tire and other things. By the way, I sold that tire for $40, so I made money off of that whole thing. But I made a video about it, and Kevin started getting that, so he contacted me, and so we made videos around each other, say, like, check out his content. He's dealing with that. Yeah, drama sells, but look, I'm not going to throw Kevin under the bus. I'm not going to make other people that I respect into looking like clowns. That's not the whole idea. And I'm not going to, like this video, I may put like my response to Kevin or something. I don't even know if I'm going to do that. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to be honest with you guys and tell you where I'm coming from. And I'm sorry to each viewer out there who thinks of me anything less than what I know I am, and what my loyal viewers know who I am. And that's kind of what makes me kind of disappointed because I am the kind of person that you'd like to have as a neighbor. I'm the kind of person that will go a mile for you if you need my help. And yeah, some of these comments just, why not just read them? This is Mandy Smiles. So hello, Mandy Smiles. If you're watching this, hopefully you're smiling. I also unsubscribed from Flipping Ain't Easy with a G. I don't know why it's flipping, by the way. A long time ago, I will not watch his videos for love or money. So if Mr. Right came along and said, look, I'm watching Flipping Ain't Easy, this is like a make it or break it for me, she would just walk away, I guess. He deletes comments he doesn't agree with, even after he says he wants to know what people think about XYZ. Very manipulative. I've done that once. And it used to be, I used to block people. I used to block people. My block list on eBay, YouTube was quite big because they're just nasty. Just some of the nastiest crap. I mean, just mean spirited. And I didn't think that as someone who's just sharing my experience, I don't think any YouTuber has to put up with that. Nobody should have to put up with that. That's the biggest downside of making these videos. And because I don't feel like I should have to tolerate it, I was blocking people. I unblocked most of those people except for one person. I gave that person another chance, and here it is. Paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of just stuff just tearing me down. I don't need that, man. Let me tell you something. I grew up as an only child. Loved my dad to death. Loved my dad to death. But things stay with you. Things stay with you. They stay with you into adulthood. Wish you're never born. You're worthless. Yeah, those are not. Thankfully, I had a chance to talk to my dad when I was an adult about what that did to me. Why am I sharing this with you? I don't know. I don't know. A lot of what I could have been is molded from my childhood. Not being good enough. So, look, I'm okay with these comments. I'm going to keep doing what I do. And like I said, if enough people just don't think that I'm a good enough voice for the community, please let me know down below, because I have no problem walking away. I have no problem walking away. I work pretty hard for what I make, and I'm not ashamed to say that I make good money, and I'm not ashamed to share it with you guys. I want to inspire somebody. We got James out there. Juice the PA Picker, man. You inspire me, buddy. If you watch this far through the video, thank you for watching. But you inspire me. You say that I helped you become the reseller you are, man. No. I just gave you, maybe I gave you an idea on what to do. You ran with it and took it to another level that I can only aspire to. And that's 100% on you. And I was very, very flattered when you told me at eBay Open, when I got a chance to meet you. Not the other way around. You didn't get a chance to meet me. I got a chance to meet you. And man, it's so awesome what you're doing. It's so awesome what you're doing. He is selling at the tune of, I forgot what, it was like $1 million or $2 million a year in sales, multiple stores, employees, warehouses. If only I had the guts. And this is being real. I mean, look, I beat myself over this all the time, but it's the shots you don't take that you'll never make. And that's a shot I never took. I never took the shot of getting out of my garage. Yeah, I got a storage unit. But I was in this mode. You guys know that I was in this mode of just trying to maintain. And that was really against everything that I was trying to talk about. Maintain. Maintain for what? Yeah, pay your bills, have a little bit left over. But that's a comfort zone thing. I need to get out of my comfort zone. So, my thing is now push myself, push myself, push myself. By the way, this is a car stereo I'm selling. All the connections and stuff. Push myself because I want to be able to build up a nest egg. I want to do it off of the back of my own efforts. I don't want... Yeah, we have a membership program that I talked to you about. I don't want your money. Heck, what I've gained from this channel more than anything else is friendship. Friendship. I've gained so many friendships. Now, I don't know, and I'll be honest, I don't know if Kevin really considers me a friend. I don't know that. That's only for Kevin to say. I think he's a great guy. I don't know much more about him than that and the videos that he has put out there. I've met with him a couple times. We text off and on when something's going on. But honestly, I don't know. I do know I have some great friends in this reselling business that I've met that I can call in a heartbeat. And it just so happens to be people I do a podcast with. But those are genuine people. And I made that a point before involving myself with any people to do a podcast, that I was dealing with genuine people. And I feel like I've done that. And I welcome genuine people. That's all I want. Like James, the PA picker, man, if that dude lived out here, we'd be like the best of friends. I'm telling you that right now. I love I love the drive. It fires me up. I love the drive. I love that drive. Fires me up. I love the passion to make something work. One thing I didn't tell, you guys, those of you who actually watched my story know my story. I lived in California, Southern California. That's home. That's home. That's where Jenna lived. That's where I lived. That's where I was living my entire career with Amtrak. That is where my kids live. That's where good friends still live. Man, it was so hard leaving Southern California. Not because of the place. The weather's better than here. It's for a number of factors. It's costly to run a business. Cost of living in California is much higher than it is out here in Vegas. But the biggest factor for me, because people are like, why did you even move from Southern California? You go out there all the time to visit. It's because I was coming out here all the time to buy product. I was coming out here twice a month. And it's like between the cost of gas and the hotels, staying in a hotel, just being out here twice a month to pick up an SUV full of product to take home to supplement my yard sales wasn't cutting the mustard for us. Okay. And the idea of having access to this inventory out here as often as I want it, and at the time it was just the pallets we were talking about, that was appealing to me. And so that's why we decided to make this move. And it's a blessing in disguise. You've got more product than you could shake a fist at. But my point in that is, because a lot of people like to throw up in my face, well, you're sharing all your success with us on eBay, but not all of us live in Las Vegas. Well, I didn't either. We all have the option to move. U-Haul operates 24/7, 7 days a week. Well, maybe not 24/7, but they operate within hours where you can actually go in and get a truck, hire someone to move your stuff, and move to a location that's going to be more beneficial to your reselling and allow you to take off if that's what you want to do. I'm not saying that you have to do that to succeed. Please don't twist my comments or twist my words in your comments. Please, just don't do that. James, without giving up all of his secrets, that dude, he lives in Pennsylvania. And he is traveling around the country or his general area of the country, he's finding merchandise and he's getting it back to his location. That is putting in the work, guys. I don't care if you live in a rural area. Once you get established as a reseller and you want to make it work for something that you do full time, you have all the options available to you to succeed. Your success is only limited to your willingness to step out of your comfort zone. And it goes back to what I was saying. I could go get a warehouse tomorrow, get overhead, get all the things, but I've chosen not to. Have I ruled it out? No. But right now, I see growth within my current situation. And I'm going to continue to grow until it's obvious I have to make a move like that. And that's ideal. That's ideal, because what happens is you get a place to put all your stuff that's not at your home. You get a place where people congregate, your employees who come to work and do the tasks that you do every day, and you get somebody at that place to manage it all for you. And then it gives you an exit strategy where you don't have to do a thing. And you can make, heck, even at that point, if I have that kind of an operation going on, I wouldn't mind 10%. I wouldn't mind 10%. Because by then, 10% represents a lot of money. Or a good chunk. Or at least replaces what I'm doing right now. And then, if that ever comes, if there's ever a day where that happens, I can roll into my retirement years with my Amtrak pension, and I have a business. This isn't a business. This is a job that we've created for ourselves. Until you can completely remove yourself from the business, it's still a job. If you have employees that work for you and you can take all but one day out of the month away from the business, it's still a job because you haven't completely removed yourself from that business. That's the goal. Is it feasible? I don't know. Is it something I'm going to work towards? Hold on. Yes. But is it something that I'm going to be disappointed if it doesn't happen? No. No. Am I going to be a failure? Am I the failure if it doesn't happen? I don't think so. You might think so. You might label me as a failure. But, I mean, I've shared a lot with you guys. I've already been labeled as a failure most of my life anyway. So, I mean, if you go down and put those comments down below, it's fine. That's how you truly feel. So, look, I just thought I'd make this video. I didn't get a whole lot done. Probably said too much more than I should have said. I ain't fishing for sympathy. I'm well past that. That ship's done. I mean, that just, who cares? Who cares? Who cares what John went through as a kid? I'm sure that there's been people out there that have gone through a lot worse than I have. But we still bounce back and we do our best. And we make mistakes along the way. And what I've learned over the last week is that unless I'm really good friends with someone, or they attack me, then it's probably not a good idea to even mention names. And I think I've said this before. You know, hell, I made the worst mistake of all. You repeat a mistake. So that's the thing with reselling. You know, you can make mistakes. You make mistakes all the time. But the moment you repeat a mistake, that's when it's really bad. And so the mistake that I made was, again, bringing up, and I didn't think I was bringing up Kevin in a bad way. Again, Kevin, if you're out there, if you've made it this far to the video, dude, I don't know how you did it, because you're too busy to be having to do that, to listen to me. But I do apologize if you truly felt what you said in your title, that I was calling you out, and if your audience feels that I was calling you out, then I apologize to all of you. And you might think this ain't that big of a deal, even talking about it. Maybe I'm being over dramatic about it, but I feel that strongly about it. So I do apologize. So with that said, I'm going to log off. For those of you who are sticking with me, thank you for your support. Thank you for allowing me to be human. And thank you for listening to things I probably wouldn't be sharing with many people. I shouldn't be sharing with the world. It is what it is. I'm that guy. I have no agenda. I'm very honest. And there you got it. You got it. So I'd ask, normally at this time of the video, I'd ask you to subscribe, ask you to comment down below, ask you to hit the like button, just don't do anything. If you're not compelled to, it doesn't matter. Just know that I care about this community. Just know I don't prefer to be on eBay Island as a seller, and this is what keeps me off of that. And I'm going to keep trying to bring you guys content that I feel is relevant to me and not what other people are doing. Yeah, I'll use examples, but I won't use names, right? And I'll tell you why I don't feel like that's the best practice. But aside from that, I'm going to do better when it comes to mentioning, because I really didn't think that it was going to go beyond the video that I made on Saturday, and it ended up being that, and I didn't want that. It's the last thing I wanted. I wouldn't have made the video. So that said, I want you guys, I'm off my soapbox. I apologize, guys. That said, I want you guys to have an excellent rest of your day, and we will talk to you here very soon. Take care.
The live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast. Profit Playbook's the name. With Scott and Josh, flipping's more than a game. Mistakes. Learn from them and you'll have what it takes. In the world of reselling, will you guide? With flipping ain't easy by your style. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast. Profit Playbook's the name. With Scott and Josh, flipping's more than a game. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community. community